Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crypto Talk Now. Give me just a moment to mute myself on the other particular screen I have up real quick. I want to go ahead and basically welcome each and every single one of you guys out there right now today on this wonderful day of what? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. So we'll take a brief moment to recognize what's going on with that particular day. I also want to welcome some people that are here before we have, I don't know, I guess you could say before we kick it into the particular show. I'm just going to double check a few settings to make sure everything is working. So let's go ahead and start things off with the first comment. And let's see here. We got Boomer effing Sooner, the one, the only. He states, "Howdy, folks. Sir Larry, Mighty Max. Good to see you, Boomer." And Coochie Boy's in the house saying what's up to Boomer, basically, and me as well. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to get more and more into the show. It's really awesome to see some of, like as a host, one of your dreams, I guess you could say, is to see an audience waiting, I guess you could say, for the host to start and whatnot. It's humbling, and it's awesome to see that. So thank you guys. Can't thank you enough. All right, let's see here. We have people saying hello to each other, and Sobo's in the house. Hello to a fellow educator. Thank you for being here, both on the recorded and on the live. Really appreciate you, Sobo. River Runners here also. Good evening to you. GS is back here in the house. Hello. You know what I'm going to say? Is it me you're looking for? Lionel Richie. I don't know why Larry always says it, but it's okay. It's kind of a thing now. Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle Manizzle for show. He says, "Yo, good to see you, Mike. Thanks for all the links, everything else. OG of OGs. Big Dave, it's okay. I'm here, gentlemen." He says, "Bringing the Bulls on. Let's go." Thank you for being here, Big Dave. All right. All I kindly ask you guys to do, if you don't mind, is simply hit that like button. It's free. And if anything, it'll help us tier up to the next level, get this particular stream out to more and more people. And that, of course, definitely helps out our particular program, network, etc. Brian Dowie's in the house. Good to see you, Brian. Right back at you, man. All right, so I'm going to basically read a few more comments. If you guys are wondering what's going to go on for today's show, of course, we'll do the thing in regards to recognizing Dr. King and his legacy. On top of that, we happen to have some hot news in regards to Quant, XRP especially, right? You won't want to miss the David Schwartz particular news clip, right? We introduced the one that happened yesterday with Stuart Alderati. Now it's like a thing at Ripple. Now the next person in line is basically David Schwartz for a 1 minute interview. Will it be Brad Garlinghouse tomorrow? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, got some of that going on. For instance, nothing with XLM. I did try to dig up something. That is really hard to dig that up. But you know what? Think about it, right? They know what they have. Let's face it. That, in my humble opinion, that's gonna be like the world, the one world currency or cryptocurrency. If I had to pick one for just average, Joe Schmoes, that's the one. And then on top of that, we also have, for instance, LCX, a little bit of ALBT, some XDC, believe it or not, with Warren Sapp. Maybe some of you guys saw that. Got some H-bar. So it's going to be a good show, guys. Thanks for being here. Hello, there is Salamander, the XDC commander. He says, "Hello, Cowboys. Good to see you." And Rafael Santos is in the house, straight from the Philippines. Good to see you, Rafael. Always good to see you. All you guys. Every single one of you. All right, let me get further into this. April Cornwell's in the house. Happy MLK Day. Hope everyone had a beautiful day. Weather was amazing. Makes me think spring is soon. Yeah, for teachers, you get the day off. So other people get it off too. For instance, if you work in the government. But good to see you, April. I'm glad you made it too, River Runner. Thank you. Rayan's in the house. I wanted to go ahead and say hello to you, Rayan. Good to see you. Cool Cat Crypto's in the house. Just enter through the cat door. Let's see who else we got. I don't want to skip over anybody. If I did, it wasn't on purpose. Bear with me. Mr. Lambos, Crypto Talk. He always starts it off with a great comment. So thank you for that, Mr. Lambos. He says, I noticed in your thumbnail you got Quant ahead of XRP. Is that intentional? You feel like Quant will be no, you got to keep in mind, what do we cover the most? What is the thing that is hot traction? It's Quant. Most of the new people you see here, where are they from? They're from Quant. So it doesn't mean necessarily I have it ahead, maybe slightly, right? I have stated this for as far as scarcity is concerned, I definitely have it ahead. But it's always almost like a neck and neck for me. For some of you guys, it's not the case. For some of you guys, it's definitely XRP or some of these other ones. But whatever the case be, yeah, that's why I put it, in front and so on. So, per coin, yes, be more valuable in the long run. I do full-heartedly believe that. But I think both of them are going to be worth a lot. You know what I mean? Those are my top two, Quant, XRP. I've been pretty consistent with that. And then my number 3 consistent one has always been XLM, XDC, and then some of these other ones like LCX. That's been something in which I said to myself, as far as looking at the opportunity, as far as it being an exchange, as you guys would say, an exchange bank. All right, let me get further down into it, but hopefully that answers your specific question. Hello, Max, the CTM fan. Thanks for that. Big watch, dude. Good to see you with the X. All right, let me get further into this. All right. Glad that everybody's so welcoming to each other. That's good, especially on today. Chaka Khan. There he is. Hey, what's up, everyone? Max, you're the man. You're the man, too. Thank you for being here, Shaka. If you guys aren't following Shaka, go ahead and give him a follow. He's at Shaka Crypto, just like how he has it spelled right here. Ted was like, ban? Hell no, Virgo Cat. Wow. All right. Ed Clary. Al Clary. You know why I say Ed Clary? It's because he's this guy that I used to know back in the 90s. All right. Welcome, Al Clary. Maybe you are related to an Ed Clary. What a small world would it be if you were. Anyway. You guys ready for it? Are you ready for it? Literally, everybody's saying out loud, your ears should be ringing, Mr. Mentalect. You know what they're all saying as we speak? Hello. Is it me you're looking for? Lionel Richie. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Had to do it. You're the only one that has that type of welcome. Think about this. Shout out to Tim Shad. I don't know if I even saw it. Is Tim not here today? Did he miss out? Well, nonetheless, Tim Shea just has, hey, but you have a whole spiel. You should feel glad. Anyway. All right. Don't forget to hit that like button. Yes, thank you very, very much for that. Let me see who. There he is. Tim Shea's in the house. I was wondering where Tim was that. Good to see you, Tim. Mass Debaters in the house. He says, greetings, peeps. Nice to see you. Good to see you, Mass. Excuse me. Let me take a drink real quick. Today's unofficial sponsor is sponsored by Simply Fruit Punch. Simply Fruit Punch, the proud drink of yours truly, Maximus. Simply Fruit Punch goes down smoothly. All right. Anyway. All right. Masturbator AI tokens are going to be huge. Make it so far for 2023. All right. We're almost towards the bottom, and then we're going to kick it right in because we're approaching the 10-minute mark. Crypto High, aka Watermelon Crypto Sugar High. Did I say it right? Watermelon Crypto Sugar High. Anyway, good evening, CTM fam and Max. Good to see you. Watermelon Crypto Sugar High, aka Crypto High. Mike Cox Fat. Jeez. If this is Mike Cornwell, you did it. You did it. Why? every once in a while, there's one that slips right through. In this case, the one that's, that's fat. So, yeah. All right. Welcome to Machach's a thing that's fat. Why is quant better than XRP in your opinion? I am still learning. Okay. I look at it this way, right? So it's got a very unique, as I would say, it's a monopoly. In my humble opinion, it's a monopoly. You have, for instance, Overledger. That's an operating system, not a blockchain. For one, quant is blockchain agnostic. The ability to basically, make over 100 blockchains interoperable at scale that nobody else is technically doing. And you look more into it, like we call it, the Microsoft of crypto. Does it even deserve that particular title? That combined with this could very well become one of the world's most richest companies ever here in the future. I'm not the only one that feels that way. I look at it from the perspective of they are the definition of what Web3 should evolve to, and they're currently doing it. If you're a particular blockchain and you want to get certain things done, typically speaking, like Gilbert Verdi and Quant has outlined, that's going to take about 3 to 4 years. He's able to, with what they got with Overledger, to solve these particular problems at basically 8 months, right? And how are they able to do that? With 3 lines of code. It attracts a lot of different developers to come into the particular project, or in this case, a product. Literally, it's an operating system. So it's the network of networks. And basically, there's the quick gist. Look more into it for yourself. Don't listen to the FUD in regards to it being an ERC20 token. That we have established when it comes to just that when you get slapped with that particular fee, the gas won't kick in. It converts it to a QRC20 token. I did a particular video about it. But all that you want to learn is in our video section. Simply go there, and it's all outlined for you. But yeah, Mr. Mike, you know what is fat? Because he's referring to Cox Communications. Yeah, there you go. Welcome. All right. So everyone, please welcome Mr. Chach's fat. You know what I mean? All right. Tim Shea's in the house. Linking everybody up to Chaka. See, you're on top of it. That's what I love about Tim Shea. Nobody needs to tell Tim Shea what to do. He just knows what to do. All right. Yo, Mary Ellen, Aaron, Elizabeth, Jason, James, Benjamin, and John Boy. That's the Waltons. That was a great show back in the day. All right. Let's see here. Thank you. I saw we had roughly over 40 people earlier. Thank you for that. If you just connect in, please hit that like. Maybe we'll tear up to the next, 50 or something like that. Really appreciate you guys. We are going to get into the particular show here in a moment. Yeah, I see all the delayed reaction now. Oh, boy. All right. Boomer says, all good here. Crypto high. Dallas winning for now. Okay. It's good to see some of these things you guys are mentioning. No, I don't think he did that, but you never know. Green Candles in the house. Says, sup, Max? Good to see you. And JG is here. And hold on. Okay, thanks. That was a nice, concise breakdown. Yeah, you're welcome. Old Man Crypto. Quant is the connection between all digital assets. However, they all work together. So the value will be high with Quant and XRP. There's a different use case, which also would be high value. That's a good point. Let's see here. Saitama, worst coin ever. You know what? Believe it or not, we have some Saitama news. I want to hear what you guys got to think about when you see this particular video. It will be later on in the show. It is in regards to how they're shilling like XRP and the connection. You guys have seen a lot of this already. But there's a particular person. He comes across as I don't know that. There's a particular guy who addressed Congress earlier last year. Looks just like the guy. Of course, they're not going to state that. I want to know what you guys' feedback when I share it. So, Future Crypto 007, lover of time. I love 007. Caught you live. Well, thanks for being here. I've never seen you be here before, Future. Guys, let's give Future that warm welcome. Glad to see that you have a custom avatar. Another guy, Mr. Tanker 2099, Northeast Philly in the house. Well, this is not a Philly hat, but I'd like to welcome you. This is a Portland Diamond Project hat for future MLB expansion team. But I'd like to welcome you, Mike. Mr. Fat says, "Don't mind my name. I heard all the Mickey takes like water off a duck's back." That's fine. Hey, you know what? Have fun with your name. I mean, you seem pretty respectable. That's my main thing. It's just as long as nobody's personally attacking anybody. Um, XRP Quant XLM, the Master Moonbag. All right, we got a lot of good problems here, obviously. So I can't exactly, welcome every single buddy, but I will recognize Brittany's here. Happy Monday. Good to see you here, Brittany. All right, let me go ahead and highlight Boomer's comment for as a place of reference. We're going to kick it into the actual show now. All right. So if anything, I do want to take at least a moment to recognize, everything with Dr. King and so on. So you probably have never heard this particular song, but nonetheless, it's, shout out to all the hip hop lovers out there. Selma Fudd, Brian Dowie, so on and so forth, right? And if anything, right, you may have the attitude, or not the attitude, but, you can recognize, I don't know, some decent hip hop. All right, so it's just going to be just a quick little thing. You're going to hear Dr. King over. I thought this was a pretty cool remix, to say the least. Here we go. It's called Dreams, featuring Biggie Smalls and Dr. Martin Luther King. All right, here we go.
You never thought that hip hop would take it this far.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
I woke up out that coma 2001, about the same time Dre dropped 2001. 3 years later, the album is done. Aftermath presents Nigga with an Attitude, Volume 1. Rap critics politicking, wanna know the outcome. Ready to die, reasonable doubt and doggy style in one. I feel like Pac after the Snoop Dogg trial was done. Dre behind that G-series and all eyes on me. I watched the death of a dynasty, so I told Vibe magazine, working with Dr. Dre was a dream. I had visions of making a classic, then my world turned black, like I was staring out of Stevie Wonder's glasses. It's kinda hard to imagine, like Kanye West coming back from his fatal accident.
All right, that was just a preview of that. One more thing we want to definitely share with you guys is this right here, and then we'll wrap that up and get into some of our particular news coverage, just again to kind of recognize and honor Dr. King's legacy. Here it is, and that is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a leader and a hero. This is not that long. It's about roughly, 3 minutes or so, and we'll get back here in a bit. Here we go.
Martin's best friend was a boy who lived nearby, but that changed one day when his friend told him they couldn't play together anymore. His friend was white, and Martin was black. His friend's father didn't want his son playing with a black child. This made Martin sad and angry. He didn't understand why he couldn't play with his friend. During that time, there were laws in parts of our country that kept white people and black people apart. Keeping people apart like this is called segregation. The law said that black people and white people had to go to different schools, parks, and restaurants. The schools and parks for black people were often old and run down. The schools and parks for white people had newer books and better playgrounds. In some states, black and white people were not allowed to use the same water fountains and bathrooms. Buses were segregated too. When Martin was all grown up, the laws hadn't changed. He and many other people knew these laws were unfair, and the laws made him very angry. But he was a peaceful man, He did not want to use violence to change the laws. So what did he do? Dr. King used his words. He wrote letters, newspaper articles, and even books. He wanted to persuade people to end segregation. He organized marches. He led big groups of people as they walked through streets. They all thought the laws were wrong. Other people saw these marches and began to ask themselves, are these laws really fair? Dr. King also gave speeches. He spoke in front of thousands of people. In 1963, Dr. King gave his most famous speech at a big march in Washington, D.C. He talked about his dreams for the future. He said he believed that someday the world would be a better place.
My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Dr. King's words made people feel hopeful. When he spoke, the crowd cheered and clapped. Some people cried and hugged each other. They also believed the time had come for things to change. His dream helped other people dare to dream too. There were still some people who didn't want the laws to change. They were angry with Dr. King for trying to change them. They tried to hurt him and his family. That was scary. But Dr. King was brave. He didn't let those people stop him. He kept working. He knew he was doing what was right. Dr. King was a great leader. He inspired many people. He made them feel brave and strong. He made them believe that together they could make a change. It can be hard for one person to change the world on his or her own. But when thousands of people work together, they can make a big difference. And they did. It took a long time, but the laws of segregation did finally change. Dr. King's leadership and hard work helped make the world a better place. Dr. King is no longer with us. Still, people remember him and continue his good work. We celebrate him every year in January on his birthday. On this day, we take time to think about his life and what he did for our country. But you can celebrate him every day. You can spread his message of love, peace, and fairness by treating others with kindness and respect.
All right. Glad to be able to share that with you guys. Nice to take a moment to recognize Dr. King and some of the things he did for this country of ours and so on, and let's face it, for the world. I'm going to kick it back into the particular comments we have. I did see this particular question. It says, I see a lot of buzz around LCX on this platform. What's the bull all about? I guess I don't know. I heard of the token briefly, but not really looked into it too deeply. So the quick gist is this, right? So they are a very unique exchange. And basically speaking, they stand out because they tokenize just about anything and everything that has value. All right. It could be real estate, or in this case, for instance, diamonds. They have this particular project on there. It's called Tiamons. It's TIA. It's provided on their particular platform. So if you heard of, for instance, Bored Apes Yachts Club and how they stood out, well, this new thing called Tiamons is something that a lot of people are watching very closely. Now, it's an NFT project that basically is just that, for instance, diamond related NFTs. And it's not available yet, but that's just another example of a exclusive tokenization platform that's on, for instance, LCX. Another thing that stands out, this is probably the thing that stands out the most, is a lot of our particular members and so on have pointed out for literally since last summer that when it comes to LCX, it's basically speaking an exchange bank. Yeah, a bank. And a lot of people feel as though that even though it's a low market cap gem, if you will, that in the future it could achieve, for instance, maybe like a quarter or half of the market cap that Binance has. I know that sounds pretty bold. Me personally, I don't think they hit 100% or on the same par of Binance. To me, that's just I just don't see that. But if they can achieve like half or quarter, there is a lot of gains to be made, to say the least. And everything that they got going on and so on, like for instance, they're officially recognized by the World Economic Forum. You name it. They have that quant partnership. Again, at this particular price that they hover around, anywhere from like 5 cents to I think it's like 8, if I'm not mistaken. It's very, very undervalued, even with the recent pumps. So look more into it. We have a lot of information in our particular recorded video section. And yeah, check it out. All right, guys. If you're just tuning in, again, please hit that like if you haven't done so already. We really do appreciate it. And if anything, I want to welcome Daniel Delgado. He says, "Good evening, Max. Nice touch, Max. Thank you very much." To people who are wondering, yes, you are right. And that is that was the game. So that was an old remix that he did. I don't think he officially did. Somebody, let's face it, there's some really talented people who put, remixes together. So it's the game featuring Biggie Smalls and Dr. Martin Luther King. I don't know. I thought it was a nice touch. I do like hip hop. So, no, I'm not an OG, but I do like old school 90s hip hop, 80s, 90s hip hop. Anyway, Boomer Half a Series says, I could at least make one of those, and I'm old. One of those catches. All right. Yeah, it definitely was the game. All right, let me see here. Let me go further down. Let's see who we have that has a particular question. I know a lot of you guys talking about the football game. Nothing wrong with that. How about this? Here's an update. The Cowboys just go for 2-point conversions for the rest of the game. Probably unpopular opinion, but Dallas always seems to find a way to lose. It seems that way for the last, God, I don't know, 25 years or something. More than that? I don't know. Sorry to all the Cowboys fans. L. Cleary states, I thought maybe you're out on work release. Huh. All right. Boomer F and Sooner. I don't know who that was pointed to. So, Boomer F is 30 years since they won a road playoff game. That's a good point. All right. Mass Debater. Maybe it's just me, but this video delivery sounds very condescending. Okay. You're entitled to your own opinion. All right. Let me go further down. Mass states needs to be delivered a more adult audience. Sounds like it was done for preschool kids. The message I love delivery was a little off. I'm a teacher. I wasn't trying to do this to, I thought it had a good condensed thing that did everything we basically needed. But teach his own, Mass Debater. Teach his own. All right. Let me go further down. Let's see here. River Runner, at least some weeks seems to be overlooked while everything else is pumping. And Gala doubled in 4 weeks. Yes, it did. All right. And I think it's going to go up even higher, to say the least. All right. Let's get more further down into the comments. I'm going to highlight Tim Shea's spot. And yeah, we're going to kick it right in. All right. So let's see here. We got, for instance, some of the particular coverage we did earlier. We're going to start things off with quant right now. And here it is. All right. So I like this particular comment because it's true, right? And sometimes we like to recognize people from the community. It says 10 years from now, no one will believe you bought quant for $140. Basically, it is in the 140 range right now because of these recent pumps. And when it comes to quant, anything above 5% is pretty darn significant, to say the least. It's not like some of these, like for instance, if SHIB is up to 5%, is it really going to matter that much? No, because it's at 0. 4 zeros and a number, right? But with quant, it really does stand out. I mean, that's a pretty big leap. So it says we are as early as you could possibly get on this one in a lifetime opportunity, despite everyone who states that this thing's going to crash to $40 or $50, right? It says quant will be like Bitcoin on steroids. And I stated that many times before. You have this person is like, yeah, anyway. I don't know. I thought it was a good statement. Thought I'd bring it to you guys. On top of that, a little bit more in regards to quant. No, this is not me posting this. This is another guy who is a Maximus, right? So this is Crypto Maximus. I've shared some of his tweets before. Look at what he has to say here. This is pretty good stuff. It says Oracle is a $240 billion market cap comp. Quant is 1.7 billion. You can't say this, or I should say, you can't say this gives Quant a market cap potential of what Oracle or those 500,000 instas are valued, but what value do they interact with? That's a good question. So it says, that's the prize. Trillions open to operate on a protocol. Overledger is a tool, not a comp. All right. So for instance, he does quote or shares some of what Greg Lunt has got right here. So it says Oracle is in beast mode. Their rate of innovation in cloud and blockchain services goes unmatched. I couldn't agree more. And Quant sits firmly in the center of their systems. Nearly 500,000 clients will be turned onto blockchain via Oracle in the coming years. And that is something else. I mean, and we've already, established that particular partnership, why it's significant. Also, on top of that, if you want to look more into it, if you're new to quant, you can see, for instance, that particular Pentagon defense contract. It's a $9 billion contract, I believe, for the next 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. And on top of that, or maybe it was slightly under that. Anyway, close to a decade. I split between 4 different companies, and for instance, Oracle was one of those particular ones. And of course, if you want to look more into this in a recorded section, we break down why that's significant, especially with quant, but it does draw that particular connection and has an outline. In that video, it did very, very well. But anyway, there's more to it than just what we mentioned. This is something that we shared, with you guys before, but I want to pound it home just a little bit more. So I'm going to pull this up. That's Oracle Blockchain Blog. Says basically the 3 facets of blockchain interoperability. It says, for instance, and here's some of the key highlights. In parallel, Oracle FinTech partner Quant, again, part of the Quant connection, has been working with Oracle and the Oracle blockchain platform team to address these challenges with production-ready solution. The partnership has resulted in Oracle certifying Overledger for interoperability with Oracle blockchain platform. Quant provides, listen to this, an immediately available solution certified in Oracle cloud infrastructure. That's the key takeaway. On top of that, like you see at the bottom where it's highlighted, it says Quant is now working in a highly collaborative manner with Oracle to roll out solutions on the Oracle blockchain platform for a variety of sectors. The key sector that we are engaged is the financial services. Combine that with what we just showed you. For instance, the onboarding of 500,000, like it says on the right side, nearly 500,000 clients will be turned onto blockchain via Oracle in the coming years. This is why, for instance, when we talk about having great use case and those particular partnerships and that utility kicking in, these particular things is, again, part of that integration, which leads to mass adoption. So it's not just, this is what we solve at scale that nobody else is doing and so on. When you see something like this, nearly 500,000 clients will be turned onto blockchain via Oracle in the coming years. And again, that's super impressive, but that doesn't even, that's not even the tip of the iceberg. Think of all the other partnerships they have, the likes of Quant and so on. Of course, Oracle definitely stands out as being like the cream of the crop. But again, it's just super impressive to see this. And, we shared this with you guys before, but we're definitely going to share it again. All right. So Greg Lunt posted this earlier. Shout out to Greg Lunt, one of the Quant All-Stars. Posted this earlier today. It says, huge, new. Oracle blockchain updated focus squarely on interoperability. And it's Quant. This release enables a number of upgraded API features for OBP developers looking to build sophisticated blockchain solutions. Let's take a look at what it contains. And basically, look at this. It says Oracle Blockchain blog. Blockchain interoperability is the focus of the latest Oracle Blockchain update. And that comes straight from Mark Ramilovich. He's the Senior Director of Blockchain Product Management. And let's get more into this just for a brief moment before we kick it back into the comments. Now, look here. You have this Web3 API support. As Greg Lunt has posted and highlighted here, Web3 clients like crypto wallets and decentralized apps can now work directly with Solidity EVM contracts inside OBP using an API gateway from what? Hyperledger Fabric to the EVM. I'm going to show you guys this for a brief moment. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, I can. All right, so you see this particular diagram and so on, and it's pretty easy to follow. For instance, you got the Web3 decentralized app, goes through the Hyperledger Fabric, like we mentioned. It's a particular SDK, software development kit, goes to the particular EVM, and then down to the smart contract, collects that particular smart contract data, goes from there to the ledger data, then, for instance, to the Oracle blockchain platform. A little bit more in regards to this. There's the atomic Ethereum interoperability, this particular section, before we kick it into comments. So it says developers can combine OBP smart contract transactions with Ethereum EVM smart contract transactions in a single atomic operation. This allows, if you're wondering about it, a tremendous amount of use cases like Greg Lunt has mentioned. Here's some of the key highlights. Ethereum interoperability with atomic transaction support enables a number of scenarios to support numerous interoperability use cases, I should say. And here's some of the few ones that you see right here. For instance, you have the Atomic Asset Exchange, pre-fund OBP fungible tokens using ETH or even ERC20 tokens. Use ETH or ERC20 tokens to pay for NFTs minted and traded on Oracle blockchain. I get it. People are going to be like, well, get hit with high gas fees and so on. But look at this. Prep and mint NFT on Oracle blockchain. Allow NFT buyer to transfer to Ethereum or another Solidity EVM-based network for secondary market liquidity. Nice to have extra options. You can also use OBP tokens to track public chain token balances across multiple ledgers or marketplaces. And of course, there's some of these more, outlined for you in regards to OBP. Now, there's more into this. For instance, ERC 1155 support. It's a lot of particular breakdowns. For instance, you have exchanging of fungible tokens. And again, Greg Lunt did a really good job of showing this. But the key thing is, this is really, really something. I would agree with him. Oracle is in beast mode. And for instance, their rate, like he says, of innovation in cloud and blockchain services goes unmatched. I'll even blow that up. No, I won't. Goes unmatched, and Quant sits firmly at the center of their systems. That is one of the key things. I think they're one of the standout ones when it comes to that particular partnership. All right, I'm going to kick it back into the comments, and then we'll get into some more coverage for you guys here tonight. So let's see here. Max, how do you feel about Flow? I don't have an opinion about Flow. I know about it and so on. I just haven't researched enough to give you an educated response. So I am aware of it, but I can't really give you a proper opinion. Like 22,000 different crypto projects. I know there's some that basically stand out above all, but I don't have an opinion about it. I'm sure somebody else does. And if anything, guys, share how you feel about that. Boomer F and Sooner, did Biden actually threaten Americans with F-15s today? I have no idea. All right, Soba, Max, simple is good. Well, thank you. Nice tribute. Thank you very much. Don't take it the wrong way, bro, but I'm not really attacking the message, just querying who was target audience. The message is spot on. It's all right. Like I always said, Mass, when it comes to things, right, maybe sometimes I seem like I'm disturbed. I did have a very stressful day, I'll put it that way. I'm trying not to let it appear to be on camera because I don't want to bring my problems to here. People can see that and so on. But I've always been the type of guy, and other people could tell you this too. I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I think that's something that, people, not just in this country, but like, let's face it, everywhere need to do. And then on top of that, I've always been the type of person in which I'll state this, if I don't see eye to eye with you or anybody else, I just simply say, all right, like maybe shake, extend my hand and say, all right, maybe, we can just agree to disagree. Think about how many wars would have never been started if people could just simply fathom that idea. Wayne side, tectonics tripled in 4 weeks. Yeah. And the funny thing is this, all right? Larry's always telling me, Max, you need to stop being humble. You need to brag more in his own way. But I did mention quite a few times, and for all you guys are the OGs of OGs, you remember me saying this, dating back even a few months before the whole tectonic thing. I have stated numerous times, I felt as though, especially in a bull market, that tectonic was at least a 10x. And I've been very clear about that. And if anything, a lot of people did basically turn 1K into 10K. And the last time I talked about that, it was literally, I think, 2 days before that big pump. So there it is. Hey, I love that particular emoji. I did that, for instance, on LCX thumbnail. I think some of you guys saw that, about how it said a whole new wave of investors were coming into LCX. So thanks for that, Wayne side. All right. Before I read this, let me just double check that I'm not skipping anything. And I guess I am skipping something. So let me read your comment real quick, and I'll kick it down to, I see a super chat came in. So he says, if in doubt, zoom out. Even if you think quant is now too expensive, dollar cost average, and buy a small amount at different price points. Don't wait for a particular price point. That's very well said, Mass. Thank you very much. All right, let's get further down. Steve Rose in the house says, hello, Max. Welcome, Steve Rose. Steve, consider changing your avatar to something that speaks more about who you are, what you're about. Just kind of helps me identify you a lot easier. But I think I've seen you here before, but thank you for being here. Guys, this is welcome, Steve. I see you already doing that. This is what I love about our community. We have a very welcoming community. All right, let me get down to, I'm going to highlight where Tim is at. And I'm going to get down to Salamanders, because, he's got a super chat and they do need to have priority. I mean, that's why you pay for it, right? He states, Max, I love the Martin Luther King video. Well, you're welcome. I'm glad you liked it. Thanks, buddy. Quant, XRP, XDC, LCX, yep, Algo, Flare, Shiba Inu are my bags. Man, I mean, you and I see almost eye to eye when it comes to all this. I mean, we really, really do. The only one I don't have on that particular list yet, keyword yet, I do believe in Flare. I still think there's opportunity with Flare. I know there's a lot of TikTok people in regards to it. But honestly, did we not see this happening? We just came out from a bear winter. I mean, technically, some people feel as though we're still in it. By the way, if you haven't seen today's video in regards to just that, I have a whole outline in regards to how I feel. And again, I'm in the minority, but so far I've been right. All right. It's in regards to this whole thing about the crypto winter going into a bull market. And if anything, the correlation with stocks and so on. I show particular charts and so on. I had a problem with my software earlier. If you're wondering, like, if you guys did watch it, like why it was so close to my face, the charts and stuff like that, compared to just, having it like on the billboard next to me. There was an upgrade on the software, and so I had to kind of fight through it, but I fixed it since then. But it's still a good video. But yeah, it has a whole breakdown. It's from the premium service of Investor Place and so on. And they have been right. They have been right big time when everybody else said that they wouldn't be right. So I would highly advise you guys take a look into it. Again, it's not financial advice, but unless we all want to know if we're going to be getting out of crypto winter and when it will be. But yeah, thank you so much, Salman. I really appreciate you. You need HBAR. Yep, I do too. And I do need Casper. So we see eye to eye when it comes to that. And LMX, don't know about, am I missing something? Is that a typo? I don't know about LMX, but I'll have to look into that. But thank you again, Salman. You've always been really supportive. You've been here for the longest time. Shout out to you, man. Really, really appreciate you. Tim Shea, Max, prayers. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. I can't thank you guys enough for being here. It means a lot. It really, really does. Quick thoughts on Flare. I know there's a lot of FUD going on with Flare as of recently, right? But I just feel as though they're going to be more than fine. And I'm looking at it from an opportunity perspective at these particular rates going forward into the future. I think it's going to be a nice one to hold. I'm going to take more of a deeper dive into it and present it to you guys here at CTN and the recorded. So be out on the lookout for that. I know I've been promised that for a while. It's just been a really stressful last couple of days for me. Anyway, Steve Rose, IOTA is really a project that has huge potential. I couldn't agree more. I did see, for instance, Richard Common Sense Crypto. He did a recent IOTA video. And, I was looking at the price of IOTA where they were in the past, and I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this might be one of the most overlooked ones when it comes to the ISOs. So whether it's officially ISO or not. Well, thanks for that, Mass. Appreciate it, man. And just like you do you. Don't, we all need to be respectful, don't get me wrong, but I don't want you to feel like you got to hold back or bite your tongue. I never want anybody to truly have to feel like they can't be themselves. I mean, as long as you're respectful, that's the main thing. Anyway, Mass Debater states, what about adding EGLD? That's one you know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to write that one down. I have a list. And let me just write that down real quick. It's called Crypto Research. I want to state this, right? Here's me looking at the camera. I'm telling you flat out, okay? You'll go to other crypto channels out there, and there's nothing against these guys. Some of them are too big to, I guess you could say, care or whatever the case be. They have their reasons, right? And I'm also with them when it comes to this particular statement. And there is 22,000 cryptos. A lot of them are going to go away. Do we get down to 500? I don't know. I'm going to look right at the camera and tell you flat out. When you tell me to look into something, and if I make this remark, this is the key thing. If I make this remark and I say to you, yeah, I'll look into that. I'm going to look into that. Now, I might not look into it tonight. I might not look into it tomorrow, but I will look into it. I keep notes. I'm a freaking educator. What kind of teacher or instructor? I've done college as well. Doesn't keep notes, right? So when I say I'm going to look into it, it's not like a lot of those other content creators out there. And I'm not trying to diss them or anything, but it's reality. You don't think that I don't go watch other shows? I do. And what do? Oh, I'll look into that. They are not going to look into that. I will look into that, but it might not exactly be today. So I do have this on my particular list, and it's called Crypto Research Notes and EGLD, which I believe was renamed. I'm just going to add to the list, and I save it. And I have a bulletin board on my refrigerator behind me, and it has a whole bunch of projects on there. It's got Jasmine, it's got Theta, it's got Tezos, it's got Near on it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And if you add up all the hours on it, that's putting in your work. But we get a decent reception and people like the coverage, then we react based on that. All right. But yeah. I think, honestly, when it comes to Moon River and Glimmer, I think those are great. I have done a VRA video. You can look into it in the past and so on. I kind of look at VRA from this particular perspective, right? I'm going to be honest with you. I look at it from the perspective of kind of like how I look at VET. They're trying to solve this thing with a particular patent, right? So, for instance, as we know, if you're advertising, whatever product or service and so on, you need to make sure that these are real people looking at your product or your service. And I think Veracity definitely, with this particular, I don't know if it's a patent pending or if it's done. I don't know. I have to look more into it because it's been a while since we covered it. But where the case be, if they can actually solve this and get this done where, Google or / YouTube, let's face it, they own YouTube, could implement it. That's the key thing, because when they implement, as we know, that's the utility. So if that kicks in, it's kind of like the same concept with XCAD. XCAD gets this whole plugin going on where you can basically tokenize your channel and other people, whether they're into crypto and whatnot. That's the utility. So it's all about when the utility is there and it's being utilized, implemented, and kicked in. Then from there, it's sky's the limit, mass adoption, and so on. And that's where you'll start seeing things go crazy. So I definitely recognize VRA is there. It's just I'm at the point where this is a crazy way of looking at it, but I think it's the right way to look at it. So this is not me dissing VRA at all, right? But what I'm saying is there's so many crypto projects. So for instance, if I want to invest in all the different ones I want to get into, I'm looking at least 20 grand. Really. I basically reinvested 52K at the beginning of this year. So I'm not really looking to put another 20K more. So I'm looking at it from a perspective of, well, maybe I'm cool with doing like maybe 5 to 7K more. And those are narrowed down to a very, very short list of what I already have or what I haven't put a position into. So for instance, like, you guys send me a bunch of links and I've seen some of them too, right? Shout out to Crypto Mike, all the other guys. You send me a link about, for instance, boom, this is what's going on with XRP. Then that makes XRP that much more my priority, even though I'm already into it. Because I say to myself, well, maybe I should get more XRP. Then I look at other things like, oh, wow, for instance, Lehman Baird is going to be at, Davos. And, there's all this talk about what they're going to be pitching as far as a green initiative to the likes of the World Economic Forum. Yes, I understand that Mr. Klaus Schwab is not officially there, but other representatives and so on from all over the world are going to be there. So to me, that's at least a 2x. But am I realistically going to be in the H-bar for a 2x? No. I'm looking at it from a perspective kind of like Lehman Bear was saying, like an overlooked Amazon. That's what's appealing to me and a lot of other people. But anyway, that's a long explanation, but I just want people to understand that, yeah, it'd be so nice to be involved in all these. I think probably just off of what you mentioned right there, it'd be great to hold all those. But I'm also looking at it from the perspective of it's not just me trying to make a 10x anymore. I'm looking at it from the perspective of I need to make wealth and I want to get it here soon. Because I have some very big goals, to say at least, in the future. If you guys have been following me for a while, I'm trying to make my own game development company, and that's a real thing. That's been something I've been working on since 2015. Actually, I shouldn't even state that. Probably since 2013, realistically. And then I got my first meetings in 2015. That's a long story, but anyway. Sobo, that was a fantastic video, Max. Very thorough bull run. Thank you very much, Sobo. Appreciate that. All right, it's okay. IMX, not LMX. Well, my bad. I mean, I just don't know what it is. That's the whole thing. So, I mean, some people come here and, in the past, not saying you specifically, they'll get all ticked off. How dare you not know how that's, I'm just going to throw this example. That's IMX and not LMX. You're a crypto content creator. Okay. So I'm supposed to be a walking two-legged Encyclopedia Britannica of crypto, apparently. I'm supposed to know every single project. Well, you just do a quick Google search. So I'm going to do a quick Google search, and I'm going to immediately know all the ins and outs about it. I'm going to know all about tokenomics. I'm going to know all about the white paper. I'm going to know everything immediately. No. You guys know me. I like to take a proper deep dive before I mention anything. All right. Let me get further into it. Salamander, Stellar XLM. Oh, okay. Typo. Kind of like that one day with Larry, right? Remember when was it Boomer Efferson? He's like, "Here's my top 5," and one of them was he tried to type a QNT, but it came out as WNT. And I love Larry. If you're watching, I love you, man. But you looked up WNT, and actually there was a WNT. I think even Cool Cat Crypto was like, hey man, what the heck? There is a WNT, and then it actually on the page, at least the website. And actually look like it might even be a decent project. I don't know. It's just kind of funny how stuff like that works out. All right. Kicker watch Dallas at the 5-yard line. I guess that was a while back. That was 801. It's not 809. So I wonder how that turned out. All right. I'm going to read a few more comments and kick it back into our particular news coverage. We're about 53 minutes into the show. If you're just connecting right now, I'd like to go ahead and welcome you, especially if this is your first time being here. We have a very welcoming community. Consider changing your avatar, something about who you are and what you're about. But nonetheless, welcome. And guys, please hit that like. Maybe we could tier up to the next level, 50 or more. It'd be really, really cool. But yeah, IOTA has the lowest supply of outside of quant in the IS. So I did see that. And that's another thing I thought was very, very appealing. Combine that with some of their particular former all-time highs, well up in the, like a few dollars and so on. I feel as though IOTA is another one that's very undervalued. Excuse me. I know Larry did a brief video on it and so on. I may do a deep dive into it in the future. I need to write on the bulletin board. Let me go further down. Mass states they have tunnel vision on particular projects and do not want to change their views. Well, yeah, and not only that, I mean, a lot of different content creators, they'll just cover one specific one, maybe because they're being sponsored by it. I don't know what the case be. We're not being sponsored by anybody yet. Maybe in the future and so on, but we're not going to get to the point where we just completely just change it just for that. But anyway, what you really got me even more excited about is VRAs. In fact, they use AI in their algorithm, and you didn't know that before. Oh, cool. All right, my Machach. I saw something about MMAI, and you guys seem very, very bullish on this project. We were the first to introduce the MMAI, MetaMonkey AI project. Unfortunately, they decided not to have us continue with that. And I'll just leave that there. I don't want to flood the project at all. And that's the final comment. I'll state with that. You guys, a lot of you guys are personally invested in so on, would never do anything to jeopardize that. And that's the final comment I'm going to make about that specifically. Klaus pulled out. He ain't going. Yeah. There was another guy who pulled out. Who was it? I think somebody said it the other night. It was Soros or something. Anyway. Oh, hey, bro. And along with your goals. Thank you. I missed it again. Yeah, I finally got the whole, brew thing or whatever. I was watching, was it Andrew Tate was talking about, he says that a lot. His brother, Tristan. And then I saw somebody else, I'm not trying to, offend anybody with this. I've been doing various different voices since like I was a kid, for crying out loud. And for the record, I am half British American. So I guess I'm offending my other half of what I am. But, I heard a guy who's just like, oh, I hear you, brother. Kind of like that. I'm like, oh, okay. That's where they get the V. That makes sense now. All right. Green Candles Fanatic. Let's go, Max. Good to have you here, Green Candles. Appreciate you being here, both on the recorded and also on the live. Thank you very much. All right. Let's see here. 20,000 cryptos. You better know them all. Yeah, exactly. Like, I am the governor. I'm a walking two-legged encyclopedia. Get to the encyclopedia. Get to it now. Anyway. I am not human. I'm AI. Anyway, no, you're human and humans make mistakes. Yes, thank you very much. All right. Let me see here. Coochie Boy, if I didn't welcome you earlier, I want to welcome you again, just in case if I didn't. Mass Debater states, I said it right out, like the right way you want me to say it. That's all right. Somebody asked Einstein if he knows his telephone number. He said no. The person was surprised. Einstein answered, why remember something which you can find and search and find elsewhere? That's a great response, but Einstein was amazing. Mass states, from what I understand, 50% seem to be pulling out of that Davos meeting. Maybe because of the whole thing with CBDCs. I don't know. Or they saw Klaus's, recent interview about the whole thing about like knocking out the whole grid. I don't know. Just makes you wonder. Yeah. Yes, get to the chopper. What you need to do now is you got to hit the like button. Do it now. Let's get to the next tier. All right. I need to work on my Arnold. I used to be a lot better. True story. Years ago, like literally 25 years ago, not 25. 2007. That's not 25 years ago, but there was also years ago back when I was in high school. In order to learn Access, they would have us go down to the library and listen to these audiobooks specifically on specific accents. So anyway, I'll never forget my teacher, my drama teacher back in the day, Mrs. Accardi. She would say specifically to me, for instance, she'd say, I want you to learn a Russian accent. And I'm like, how am I supposed to learn that? She goes, go listen to a particular audiobook down at the local library, ask the librarian for it. So you just listen to it and then you start practicing it. So I'll just do one right here, nice one with the Terminator accent. I'll be back. Get out. Welcome to Crypto Talk Now. My name is Maximilian. We're going to introduce all sorts of specific projects to you for you can skit and you can bang bang. All right. So let's kick it into some more of our particular coverage. And it is, I believe, a little bit more from Quant. I don't know if it's Greg Lunt. It is a little bit Greg Lunt. All right. So I do want to point this out. He has a Twitter space. And if anything, I think people should recognize it. So here it is. This Thursday. All right. Literally, what's that? Like 3 days from now. Or 4, was it? Technically 3 days from now. It says this Thursday on Twitter Space, he will present blockchain data showing quant supply is actually 14.88 million, not 14.6 million, which everybody's thought it was, including myself. He'll also give us the tools to verify this data for yourself. If you're, more the technical type of person you want to do this. He says there's a backstory here. Don't miss this one. It's referred to as Quant Supply Gate, the truth about 14.6 versus 14.88 million. And this is going to start at 1 p.m. of my time, which is Mountain Time. So that's 3 p.m. Eastern. So 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. If you happen to be, let's face it, everybody's going to be at work. So, if you happen to have a lunch break, or if you're instance, you just want to listen to it later on a recorded, you can do that as well. But shout out to him for putting that together. I think it's really cool. He's really, really active in the Twitter Spaces or crypto Twitter doing this. So shout out to Craig Lunt. All right, I'm going to share this with you guys. I got to stop the share and present in a way for you could hear it. It's a little bit more in regards to our particular coverage. And if anything, new person this time. So shout out to Hot Cuppa Crypto. Wow, what a name. I'm actually going to give him a follow. He only has 15 followers. Guy needs help this guy out, right? So he's a new aspiring, person, content creator like myself and so on. And, he has this right here for us. It says UK CBDC exposed. Bank of England reveals 7 ISO 222 coins. Ooh. XRP's on list, XLM, Quant, HBAR, IOTA, XCC, and Algo. We're going to play this. It's only 1 minute. Listen to the message, and we'll be right back.
The Bank of England has some more central bank digital currency wallet news. They are answering questions from 20 crypto companies that have applied and tech companies for their CBDC after the Bank of England asked for a digital currency mobile wallet provider. As we can see, lots of news coming about the UK central bank digital currency, and this affects the top ISO 2020 compliant cryptocurrencies. These are the 7 cryptos: Quant, which is a UK-based cryptocurrency; Ripple, which is XRP; Stellar, which is XLM; Hedera Hashgraph, HBAR; IOTA, and XTC Network, and Algorand. These are 7 of the biggest ones. The UK government and the Bank of England are looking to team up with one of these networks so that these networks can launch their blockchains and networks on a global scale for the UK to create their central bank digital currency. It's not just the UK. There are many other countries using these same cryptos. So keep an eye on those cryptos in the future. The Bank of England has some new central bank digital currency wallet news. They are.
So thanks to him for sharing that. Now, here's the thing, we have already established that connection for quite a bit now, especially with the Quant connection. Excuse me, I'm having a hard time. And with that said, you also are now starting to see, for instance, other content creators covering this and so on. I realize he's new, but, I wanted to I always like giving a new guy a chance because we were new at some point too. Some people still consider us pretty new. But nonetheless, he did have some useful information there and so on. And it's not just, for instance, the likes of Quant, obviously it's XRP and some of these other ones you mentioned. But I was glad to present that to you guys. I will read a few of these real quick. Haha, nice with the Terminator accent. I'll be back. Get out. Thanks. I've done it better in the past, though. I used to be able to do it spot on, but as I've aged, so has my voice. But anyway, bang bang. I woke up again. I heard some bang going on. Yep. Did you see XEC as one of the companies? Did I say that? I don't know if he said that on that particular one. Sorry, heard wrong. It was XDC. Yeah, I think he did say XDC. But yeah, we'll take more of a deeper look into that and so on. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight Salamander's comment. And if anything, we're going to go ahead and get back into our particular news coverage, which is this right here. And this is pretty breaking, to say the least. I don't know if some of you guys do follow a guy by the name of Ripple Van Winkle, but he posted this earlier today, about 12 hours ago this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. This one's only about 2 minutes, but man, he has some breaking news, and I, of course, want to share it with you guys as well in regards to Ripple and XRP. So I'm going to go ahead and present that for you guys right now. And if you're just tuning in, please hit that like button, and also I'd like to welcome you if you're brand new to Crypto Talk Now. All right, so check this out. It says Ripple XRP news, Brad Garlinghouse speaking at the World Economic Forum. Wrong side of history. Well, is this why some people are pulling out? I don't know. I don't think it's anything necessarily bad, but this is only about, I don't know, a minute and a half or so. We're going to listen to it, and we'll be back for some commentary. By all means, let me know what you guys think in regards to this. Here we go.
Remittances for recovery, a new era of digital money. This is Brad. Listen up to what Brad had to say. We'll give you a little clip of it last year.
No, but what do you think, first of all, actually, remittances can do for recovery in the aftermath of the pandemic? We know that, as I said, remittances increase post-crisis. So what role do you think they're going to have, and how can the advancements as we have seen in digital money technology really support this use of remittances through mobile money? Brad, maybe I'll start with you.
Sure. Look, I agree with everything you just said, and the point that jumps out at me the most is in a moment of crisis, these are the kinds of money movements that are the most critical to a population that is most fragile. The WEF's motto is about improving the world, and I think it's almost a tragedy that the people who can least afford it are the ones paying the most. Looking at your data, we can say that the mobile wallet at 1.7% and celebrate that that's much, much, much better. But I would ask the question of why isn't it 17 basis points? Money today is ones and zeros. You can send an email to anywhere in the world for effectively nothing. Why is it even 1.7%? And I think the good news is we can get there. There are hurdles, and more so than anything else, I think the hurdles is the incumbency of existing players, and I mean that as relates to corporates as well as governments, who sometimes don't always have a shared incentive of what's in the best interest of those populations that might be most fragile and in most need of those in a moment of crisis funds from loved ones, home, what have you.
So we talked about a new era of digital money, and now he's going to be talking about finding the right balance for cryptocurrency. Fact of the matter is, Brad's there. Does your other coin that you were looking at, researching, holding on to, are they going to Davos to meet with these people? Does that token have real utility? That is what you need to look at, folks. I'm going to leave the video like that. Listen, wash them hands. Be nice and be kind to each other. Ripple Van Winkle is out.
All right, so I thought I'd share that with you guys and so on. I was hoping that it was, of course, going to be the one right from Davos as of now. And he was just going to show us a clip from last time around it and do like a little prelude into what's going on currently. We'll continue to follow this. If I get one that is actually straight from Davos, of course, I'll share it with you guys. One thing I do want to mention is, like he mentioned, does your particular coin / token, does it have real world solid, utility? Is the representative or the CEO actually going to be at Davos? Well, the answer is yes. And we know that with a few particular projects, for instance, with Algo, for instance, also when it comes to HBAR. I'm looking really forward to getting a particular clip when it comes to, for instance, Lehman Baird sharing his thoughts and concerns with just that, the World Economic Forum and so on in Davos. All right, so let's read the next particular comment. What are your thoughts on Luna Classic? I stated before, and I'll say it again. My thoughts are, it just needs time, like anything. And everybody focuses on the burns, and rightfully so. But I've been pretty consistent when it comes to my stance on that, and that is, I feel as though once we get that ecosystem built back up, and if you can even get half, I'm not saying all, but half of, for instance, those particular well working projects that used to be part of the ecosystem back into it, and have people be back, I should say, gung-ho again going forward. Build up the ecosystem. It was a really great ecosystem before the the collapse and so on. We established that, and then, for instance, having all these particular projects, maybe also do like a particular burn and so on. I think some of these things make sense, and just keep an active community, right? If the end goal is to, the phoenix that rise from the ashes, not 2.0, but actually Luna Classic, then I think in the end they'll be more than fine. But I've also stated that I think, let's face it, right? People have gotten spoiled on it. I can say that I own over $4,000 worth of Luna Classic, right? So, you think I'm going to try to waste my money on this? No way. So my thing is, all these factors combined, I think we get there eventually, but I want to start seeing realistic milestones. I want to see us, for instance, get to like a half a penny, then a penny, and so on. I don't want to see any more of Luna Classic to $100, videos left and right and so on. I want to see the ones where, all right, look, this is what we're going to do. These are the proposals that make sense. Here's why it makes sense. Again, a good active community. So that's the main thing. And as long as they have that, I think it'll be more than fine. So anyway. All right, XRP, excellent Quant. Thanks for getting the algorithm going. I noticed you guys saw that the chat stopped, so I appreciate that. BSV, yeah, I'm considering that because you know what? Why not? I mean, I might not get like the huge bag of it, but I might at least get a handful of it and so on, because I recognize that it could be really something else. LCX and HBAR. All right. Hit that like button, please. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to kick it into our next part of our coverage. Thank you for being here tonight. Let's see here. And that is in regards to, again, a little bit more from Ripple. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share this with you guys. And if anything, check this out for yourself. Now, I don't know if it was yesterday night. Actually, I don't think it was yesterday night. I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 nights before. Shout out to Larry who put the video together. But on our, we basically cover this, right? So, for instance, you saw, the whole thing going on with Uruguay with XRP. Now another country, really? This is really cool. So it says very rare document establishing a connection between Ripple and the Central Bank of Mexico, right? With XRP as a bridge currency between fiat currencies. And here it is. So I'm gonna see if I can blow this up. It's kind of a little bit blurry. I can't make it better. But anyway, like I said, from Joshua S. Downer, Senior Product Counsel, Director of Regulatory Relations. With all the regulatory compliance that needs to happen, it's nice to see some of this particular text, right? So it says, X-Rapid payments are fully settled in 2 minutes or less and reduce costs by 40-70%. This is near settlement, is in contrast to cross-border payments in the traditional system that takes 3 to 5 days to settle. And, it gives a description, it gives proposed revisions, and it makes you wonder. It's like, all right, that's 2 different countries now. First was Uruguay, and now you see, for instance, Mexico. So I wanted to present that to you guys. I feel that much more bullish on Ripple and, Ripple's XRP and so on. And I think we start seeing more and more countries popping up left and right, to be honest. And this is really, really cool. It's an exciting time to see this unfold before our very eyes. And we'll keep bringing you guys these particular news updates on the regular. All right. A little bit more in regards to our particular coverage. You're not going to believe what you're about to see here in a bit. I do see that there's some more comments came in. Let me just take a brief moment to get into some of that. Let's see here. So we have Chuck Sneed. Okay. Well, good to see you, Chuck. I've never seen you be here before. I'd like to welcome you. He says, since the tokenized asset industry is expected to be a $16 trillion industry by 2030, you think LCX is going to 1 trillion market cap is possible in a massive bull run? by 2030, I guess it is possible. If you're looking to hold that long, it could be very well achievable. I understand also at the same time, I might have to go back on my statement about as far as it like achieving, equal to Binance. I still feel as though that by 2030, let's face it, Binance would probably be even higher than that. I think a lot of things that a lot of people didn't think was achievable becomes just achievable. Whether it is LCX, some of these other ones, especially Quant and so on. That would be, I don't even know what the word would be. We talk about leapfrogging. But by 2030, that's plenty of time to do it. And they definitely stand out as being that tokenized asset platform, right? That's a unique use case for their particular exchange. Combine that with them being a quote unquote bank. I'm not going to say it's not possible. It is possible. I have to look more into that. But that's a great question. I think either way, they do really, really well. And another thing I pointed out even at the beginning of the show, that I feel as though they can achieve like 25%, 50% of what Binance does eventually. As far as them bypassing Binance, I just not ready to state that. That's the world's largest exchange. But I think there's, even with that said, come on, man, 25% of Binance, that's huge upside potential to say the least. And I do think they accomplished that. Also, we're all going to make it. Yeah, we're all going to make it. Just know what you hold. Invest in solid, great utility tokens and coins and so on. You'd be more than fine. Not official financial advice. That's just what I'm personally doing. I'd like to welcome you, Chuck. Guys, let's welcome Chuck. Thank you for being here. And again, I'm glad you're asking the questions and so on. We have a very welcoming community. Mass Debater states, I feel we are going to have more large pullback in the market within the next 1 to 5 days. He thinks that we are in a bull trap right now. Okay. Do me a favor sometime. Watch the particular video I released earlier today, if you choose to do so. I know it's a long deep dive, but I give, in my opinion, enough. I present a case for everybody about how I feel as though that we could be very well not only going from the utility run, but next to that would be like the bull run and so on. And I understand it's a very unpopular opinion, but so far I've been right. All right, Larry, give us your top 3. All right. All right, so I still have 40 million Luna Classic. I don't quite have up to that, but I do have close to 16 million. Originally my goal was 20 million. I'm close to about 16 million. BSV was for Cool Cat. Yep. All right. Mass Debater states, I feel the large institutions are accumulating and want to buy as cheap as possible. They want us out. Yeah. Let me see if I could take a brief moment to show you something just that I kind of showed on the particular video I did earlier today in reference to all of this. So for instance, let me see if I have it. I'm not going to be able to pull that up real quick because I didn't name it the right way. Well, anyway, it basically shows these different boom cycles. And so there's the accumulation phase. And basically that's where I feel like we're at right now. And if you have seen it yourself, after the accumulation phase, there's a nice bullish run up that happens after that. And I don't just try to pull things out of thin air. I do try to back it up with actual data. If you're interested in it, it's a deep dive video. I could actually show you guys that just real quick before we kick it into our particular coverage. So let me see. I think I have that right here. Yeah, I do. I'm just going to pull up Crypto Talk Now's recorded section. And let's see. Here we go. So it's this right here. Hold on. And if you go to the video section, which by the way, guys, before I even mention this, shout out to Larry. You guys don't think Larry does stuff? He does stuff, all right? Let me tell you something, right? So look at this. Let's just count today. So H-bar video 1. There's the video I put out today. By the way, this is the video it's talking about mass. This one right here, it says top 5 signs bull run. It says Quant XRP, XLM, XDC, H-bar plus ALBT and LCX, the boom cycle that will trigger, or I should say will lead to the bull run. and so on. It's about 33-minute deep dive video. I have charts, graphs, you name it. But anyway, check this out, guys. I mean, come on. Do you know of any other network doing this? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 videos within 10 hours. We're trying. That's all I gotta say. You know, it's been a grind, but we're really trying to leapfrog our network. How about that? I know I say leapfrog a lot. All right, yeah, Mass, go ahead and check it out, man. I definitely do show you quite a bit in regards to that. I've been getting some good reception in regards to the intros, so I'm glad that people like that. But anyway, let me read a few more comments, and then we'll kick it back into our particular coverage, because I do try to do the 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out, but sometimes it's not spot on. All right, let me see. I don't want to lose my spot. Where are we at right now? Here. I feel as though the large... Okay, I re-mentioned that one. Big Watch Dude says, okay, that's towards... I'll read it anyway. I also think there could be another pullback after Jerome Powell speaks at the end of the month. That is true as well. I don't necessarily think it will be so drastic that it's going to be like a heavy crash. You know, don't get me wrong. Some people state that, you know, they believe that only black swan events happen in a bear market. I mean, they can happen in a bull market. Why would it only happen in a bear market? Machach is fat. What is BSV? It means Bitcoin Satoshi version. And you can look at that. I think it's in the top 100. If you want to learn more about it, man, Cool Cat Crypto is very, very passionate about that particular project. Yeah, Cool Cat, man, you have somebody interested there, man. May want to, you know, do what we got to do. All right. Larry states, how about I give you my top 3 I'm looking to buy: ALBT, HBAR, and LCX. Those are some great picks, Larry. Sound Matters with, here's his Quant XRP XDC. Nice. Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle Manizzle for show. He says, because you sure ain't getting no XRP. Jeez. His number 1 pick is Saiton. That's horrible. That's so bad. Definitely thought XRP would be next one you bought, Larry. Yeah, a lot of people do. I think he eventually gets it. I just don't know when. I'll just be honest. I have no idea now. I don't have any idea when he will get it. So set aside some cash to buy the dip. I'm looking to get more XRP, HBAR, and Quant. I think he has the money to get it. I just think it's the ease of access scenario, like I mentioned. You know, it's on KuCoin and so on. Me personally, I'm not going to get it off of, you know, Bitmart, even though I have a bunch of crap coins on Bitmart. I'm not the only one who feels as though Bitmart's the go-to place for crap coins. The nice thing about it, you know, Bitmart, when it comes to your coins, is that they automatically do the V2 migrations and so on. So there are some benefits to Bitmart, I guess. Larry to buy XRP at $10. Jeez. Awesome. Thank you, bro. Yeah, you're welcome. Good to have you here. All right. I got to say something. I hope this doesn't stir you away, but you have a striking resemblance to Scooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore. Did anybody else feel this way? Look at that. Anyway. But yeah, anyway. All right, Larry will buy 0.001 XRP at 10,000. Jeez. All right, Max, is 10,000 HBAR enough? I believe so. I was real tempted to just hit that buy order on crypto.com and buy 20,000 of them for like $1,000, a little over $1,000. I was really like, oh man, I really want to do that. But then I was like, but then there's a whole bunch of other ones I still need to get into. So anyway. All right. I might sound crazy, but I see ALBT will go to 4 digits in the next 3 or 4 years. ALBT is a beast of a project. No, I don't think you're crazy. I think you might be right on that. Need at least 4,000 more ALBT. Okay. What do you think of WADSPay? I don't know about that one. All right. Who works harder, you or James Brown? Thanks for that. Nobody Max. That's a song. Who sings that? Keith Sweat. Nobody, baby. Anyway, very good and informative channel. Thank you very much, Mr. Mike Machach is something. All right, Daniel Delga, go get the cash. Got to get the dough. Make moves with Puff. Rest in peace, Craig Matt. I used to listen to a lot of Craig Matt back in the day. The song "Get Down," and also, are you kidding me, man? You know, the flavor in your ear, Craig Mack, brand new flavor in your ear. The remix was so much better, though. So much better. Especially Biggie's verse. Not from Houston, but I rap a lot. Pack the gat a lot. The flame is about to drop. Man, I miss me some old school 90s hip hop. All right. Chris Toby, it's Shooter McGavin. That's right. Shooter McGavin. I don't know. Did I say it wrong? Anyway. Bitmart has all the blue chips, Max. Hey, you're doing good with it, and that's what matters, right? So, man, I have a lot of, but I have to admit, I have a lot of crap on Bitmart. You guys probably have more crap than I do on Bitmart. I mean, but it's just, it's like, why did I put that much into this when I could have done it in like some of these other ones with solid utility? But teach his own. This is towards Larry. He says, hey, Larry, any thoughts on the rumors of the implosion collapse of USDT Tether? Thank you. Well, I'm not Larry, but if that's pointed to him, maybe he'll answer that. Looking to Wild's Pay, partner with Algo, 1 billion supply, ticker WTK, e-commerce, sleeping giant. All right, cool. I'm invested into Algo, so very interesting. Hasn't popped off yet. If USDT fails BTC to 12, can people say that forever? My dad was spitting the image of Craig Mack, but from across the pond. Nice. All right. Well, so much for the 5 in, 5 out. Maybe you came close to it. Let's get into more of our particular news coverage. And you're not going to believe what you're going to see here. Are you ready for this? You know it's going to happen. XRP and Saitama. We haven't covered any Saitama here at Crypto Talk now, back before Larry was just covering it, long before I was here. So welcome. Wolfpack, let's go. Whoo, yeah. Man, bust out some Henoch or something, right? No, I'm kidding. All right. I'm not kidding. I think Henoch is not a bad guy. But anyway, Larry actually had an exclusive with him a long time ago. You can go to the recorded section. You want to see that. Anyway, let's pull this up. And let me know what you think about this, all right? I have Saitama still, believe it or not, right? A lot of us do, right? So it's not like we can FUD Saitama. Like they already FUDded themselves to death. But look at this. This particular guy. Who the heck picked this guy? I mean, he looks like, for instance, I have nothing against this guy. He seems like a nice guy. But if anything, he looks just like that one guy who addressed Congress in regards to regulatory clarity back in early 2022 when Congress was trying to be educated about crypto. Do you remember what I'm talking about? I'm sure some of you guys do. I can't remember the guy's name. I'm sure somebody here in our audience will be like, oh, Max, that's so-and-so. And then I'll be like, oh, okay. There's a striking resemblance. Now, with that also said, here's the thing. This has existed for a while. We've seen it on our Twitter feeds and so on. I've never shared any of this stuff because I'm not trying to really promote Saitama anymore. The way I looked at it was, if we get into, for instance, all-time highs, maybe possibly I could walk away with like a $20 profit after gas fees or something. But just hear me out. So let's look at this. So this is from Dubai Saitama, is this guy's name. And he states, to this XRP community, the video below perfectly explains why buying XRP on Sata Pro gives you maximum security and certainty. I don't know. There is nothing better than having full access to your keys and having full ownership of your crypto. Here's the thing. They did a good job on this. I'll give credit where credit's due. And listen to the message. That's the main thing. We're all going to have a bias towards it. Let's face it. Probably most of us still hold Saitama. But again, all I kindly ask you to do is have an open mind. Listen to the message from this particular messenger, not me. This guy you see with this shirt and tie on. 1 minute. I honestly want to know what you guys think about this, and then we'll come back.
What is the best way on the planet to buy XRP? Well, if you are considering buying XRP, consider buying it on the Sita Pro app. I went through yesterday on the video that you can actually buy XRP right on the Sita Pro app using BNB. Now, why is that the best way on the planet compared to other options? Well, pretty much all other options for buying XRP are through some form of centralized exchange. And if you're going through a centralized exchange, as you know from recent history, they can go bankrupt. Their assets can be seized or frozen by a government. There can be all sorts of things that could go wrong. They could actually be misused by the owners of a centralized exchange and used for other purposes. Whereas holding your tokens on Sita Pro keeps them under your control, your keys, your tokens. And so it's a great way to get into XRP.
Honestly, let me know what you think about that. And here's the thing. I mean, I saw some of the comments. I don't know. I just thought it was well put together. I mean, give credit where credit's due, and so on. He does make a valid point, right? It's decentralized, right? And if anything, I mean, am I going to buy an XRP from Bitmart? No, I'm not going to buy XRP from Bitmart. Will I buy XRP from KuCoin? Yeah, absolutely. But what's going on right now with KuCoin is I cannot just do the quick buy anymore with my US based debit card. Is it because of crypto regulation? Could very well be, but you can't use a Visa or debit card to do a quick buy like it used to be able to do. And I used to love that feature about, for instance, KuCoin. And now I have to do third party. Or for instance, like what Tim Shea mentioned before, you could do the whole thing like you could buy, I think you said, for instance, crypto.com, and then you send it from there to KuCoin if you want to do that. But I don't want, to me, that defeats the purpose. All right, so Chris Toby states, it's all good. Love your show. Thanks for all your work. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to zoom in on you now. Everybody looks like somebody now. Am I the only one who feels as though Chris Toby is like secretly related to Edward Vincent? Look at that. They're like secretly related. Edward Vincent, if you happen to be watching right now, is Chris Toby like your uncle or something? He says, it's all good. I love your show. Thanks for all your work. Well, again, I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. So he states, you have helped me see the potential quant. Well, cool. Glad I was able to do that. But it's not financial advice. Please don't sue me. Anyway, Daniel Delgado, when you come to New York City, Max, let's build. Heck yeah, man. I got some other people, I'll tell you what, it was like Waddy's there. I think he's in the Bronx. There's some other people there and so on. But yeah, I mean, if you happen to be following me on Twitter, which I don't think you are, I don't even know if you have a Twitter song, or you can just shoot me an email and, we can link up that way. Mass debater. Looks like I ain't gonna say that. Here's the thing. This guy could be a genuinely good person. He's a father. Some people, like he might have kids, a wife, and so on. That's not my style, man. I don't do that. But it's okay. Cool Cat Crypto. The Cowboys hit an extra point. Praise Jesus. All right. Brian Dowie. Larry, now you know how to buy your XRP. Oh my God. That's a good one, Brian. That's true. No excuse now, Larry. No, okay. You can't buy XRP on Bitmart, Mass. I thought you used to be able to. Hold on a second. They took it off? Let me load up my Bitmart. I'm not questioning you, Gucci boy, but you used to be able to buy it on Bitmart. So I'm loading it up right now. Oh, I can go live with my bonk. Well, I don't have no bonk. Let's see here. So trade. Let's see. Or is it just a listing? I mean, I could have sworn you could buy it on there. Maybe it's just a listing. That's the one thing that people don't realize. Just because something is listed doesn't mean it's for trade. All right. XRP. All right. So on spot, it shows XRP. It says it right here. Plain as day. I'll show it on the screen. There it is. I know it's because of the green screen, but see that? It's on there. Look at the bottom. I know it's, see, buy, sell. I know you guys can see that. So you can buy it on there. So I wasn't trying to one up you, Coochie boy. You know I respect you, but that I was like, it's been on there for a while. All right, let's see here. Mass debater. Why is it so hard for U.S. citizens to buy XRP? Because of the SEC. That's the whole thing. And then the reason why, like people like myself, we go to, for instance, KuCoin, is because it has less KYC restrictions. But now they have this whole thing with a US-based debit cards. So you have to go through a third party. It's called the hoops you got to jump through for. And think about this. Doesn't that in itself create a sense of supply and demand? Yeah, it does. But we don't like having to go through it. All right. Is it Al De Troyo or De Troyo? Or is it AI De Troyo? I don't know. Let me know. You should add Proppy to your World Economic Forum list and list of ISO tokens. There's a lot of evidence that Proppy is in bed with all the same listed coins like LCX and Quan. All right. Thanks for sharing that. And welcome, by the way. Al, or is it Al or is it AI? Let us know. Big Watch Dude, the remix was fire. I also think it has LL on that track too. It does. So it's basically Biggie Smalls, LL Cool J, Rampage, if you remember him. Also Busta Rhymes, they're both part of the Flip Mode squad, right? I think that's it. Of course, Craig Max on it too. All right. But yeah, Busted is the final verse on that particular track. GS says, Uphold is my go-to for easy XRP purchase. Cool. All right, let me go further down. It could be that the crypto exchanges are afraid of the SEC if they will list XRP. That's true. That's the whole thing right there. Big Watch in the house. GS, if I didn't get a chance to say hello to you earlier, hello. And same with you, Big Watch. Cody Core, Bitmart, no sell to U.S. customers. Oh, that makes sense. So it's listed, you can buy it, but you probably get hit with the thing. Kind of like, for instance, they have great staking incentives. And I'm like, oh my gosh, 150% APY on ApeCoin. And you go to do that, and it says you're in the US, you can't do it. That's a good point. All right. All right, Mass Debater. We can buy XRP using Pancake Swap. Good point. Thanks, Coochie Boy. You believe Uphold sells XRP? I believe they do as well. Send BNB to KuCoin, trade for USDT, trade for XRP, sent to wallet. Good point, Cody. Thank you. Mass states, okay, but seems they put so many obstacles in front of you guys. Yeah, I wish the US was more of, the land of the free when it came to the likes of my XRP and crypto, and not the case. Try to see what happens. Max. Yeah, I apologize, Coochie Boy. You and you're right. You and Cody Core are right. But here's the thing: if you're going to have a proper API, can we at least agree on this? If you're going to have a proper API, or I should say user interface UI, right? Why even give that? Why even have it? It should just be grayed out, right? Don't tease me like that, Bitmart. Don't tease me like that. Don't even give me the section about, for instance, 150% APY on my on ApeCoin, right? Because that's just like, that's like taunting me with, like, for instance, taunting a monk with Jessica Alba right in front of him, completely butt naked or something like that. He may be tempted. You know what I mean? Or, Chris Farley back in the 90s, like on a super diet or something like that. And he got like a giant, bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. I mean, you just can't do those types of things. All right. Yeah, you're right. My bad. Max, once you execute the trade, it will say not allowed. Yeah, you're right. My bad. I can admit when I'm wrong. I recognize you from the recorded because of that particular username. Why are people obsessed with XRP as an investment at this point? Yeah, I definitely recognize you now. Large token supply, market cap already pretty large. The company dumps tokens on market to fund their operations, better projects available. I'll just state one thing, and that is basically, like I think I also mentioned to this in the comments on a recorded video. Maybe it was towards you, but I definitely recognize your username. And that is the way I look at it is that, Ripple's on-demand liquidity. That in itself, it has not been fully utilized, and that's why people are obsessing over just that. And once it is fully utilized, that's where we get these insane market caps that people have never, ever fathomed before in their entire lives. And that risk to reward ratio is totally worth it to me. That's why, for instance, I'm not looking at all these other things that you're mentioning. And I'm not trying to disrespect you. And I understand where you're coming from. You feel like there's better projects currently available. But my thing is this: currently available. I'm looking at it from the perspective of, for instance, what is going to help solve some of the problems of Nostro Vostro, if you understand what I'm talking about with that. And especially what's going to happen, for instance, going into the new monetary system. It's definitely Ripple's XRP. So with that said, I'm not into crypto just to make a quick 10x. Although that's nice, I'm looking to create generational wealth. How can I create generational wealth? Well, definitely the likes of Quant and XRP. Those are like my top two. And so that's the way I and a lot of other people are looking at it and so on. But I respect your opinion, and I understand that you're not a fan of XRP. And there's a lot of people not fans of XRP. But let's face it, there's also going to be a lot of people who are going to be on the sidelines wishing that they may have very well paid more attention to the likes of XRP. All right, Daniel Delgado, that is the track that made Notorious B.I.G. into Biggie. I don't know about that. I don't necessarily agree with that. So here's the thing, all right? Yes, Craig Mack came before Biggie. But at the same time, that remix came around right when the time, Biggie was already getting popular with, Juicy, right? But, maybe we could agree to disagree on that particular one. But you do seem like you definitely know your hip-hop knowledge for sure. Mass Debater, if you're asking about why we are interested in XRP, then you need to do your own research. Okay. Well said, my guy on XRP. Thank you. I have no issue with XRP as a tech, just as an investment per se. It's all right. I respect your opinion and so on. It's apparently it's not for everybody. But all I got to say is maybe just give it a second chance. If you're wanting to look more into it and so on. If you're basing it off of emotion or just because you're just really ticked off about the whole thing that happened with the SEC, that's where we basically state, don't have tunnel vision. If you're looking at it strictly from an SEC perspective, is the SEC, is that going to affect people basically? And, like we had a map. I wish I had the image up, right? So it basically shows all the countries of the world. And it says, for instance, how the SEC affects them. And it just shows the United States. And that's where it's at. And how about this on top of it? You're going to have, for instance, Ripple's XRP that is going to help, forget the whole thing with Nostro Vostro. That's a whole other situation itself. But if anything, understand that you're saving centralized banks, right? Especially the ones in Europe, a ton of money. Last I checked, central banks, the main reason why they're not so gung-ho is because of the old system. The old Swiss system, and which, by the way, is not being replaced, despite whatever anybody tell you, that it's not being replaced. It's an upgrade. So if they're being replaced, or I should say, if they're being upgraded, think about this. You are going to allow the central banks of the world to save a ton of money. And the reason why they didn't do a bunch of cross-border or overseas payments with trillions or quadrillions of dollars and so on is simply because of those great big fees. And last I checked, I know I always use this particular example. So some of you guys who watch us all the time, you're going to be like, oh God, here he goes again. But it's true. And that is, let's use this example, $10 trillion trying to be used for cross-border payments. What was it? Banque de France in France. They're going to get slapped with $60 billion on that $10 trillion transaction. That is something they just don't want to sign up for. All right. So it's not lucrative for them to do that. As a result, you don't see a lot of quote unquote these things happening all the time. So if anything, the utility kicks in, right? And it incentivizes more and more banks to do these particular cross-border transactions and so on. If anything, it incentivizes more countries to do it, right? You already seen what's basically happened with how we try to cut off Russia, from the SWIFT system and so on. And by the way, that's a whole other thing in itself, right? With, the BRICS countries. But if anything, it incentivizes it more, even for those central banks who are not fans of what Ripple is doing anyway. I mean, if you're looking at it from the perspective of, okay, I'm a bank, I want to stick with the traditional finance system, all right? But then you hear that, you know what, maybe I shouldn't do that, because if anything, yeah, this is supposed to be a solution to allow cross-border payments to happen a lot faster. As Coach JV would say, the speed of light. It's not quite the speed of light, but I mean, it's pretty freaking fast. And on top of it, be more secure. And if anything, do what? Be able to solve a problem of the fees. That's the main thing. If you can slash those fees in itself, I think if anything, that is the number one thing that they accomplished. And for a central bank, I'm saying to myself, look, I'm in the banking business. I am not into the business of getting slapped with fees. But yeah, sure, they love to slap us with, $15 overdraft fees and stuff like that. But that's the retail side. That's a whole, story itself. So all I'm saying is, again, if I'm like a bank manager or the head of, these large institutions and so on, I'm looking at it from that particular perspective. I want to learn more about that. And of course, they have definitely been doing that. Hence why ISO 222 is rolling out in late March. So again, I mean, I'm just saying, if you're still against it, you're still against it. And I'm not going to try to turn, I hate to use this example, crypto atheists into believers or whatever, right? It's nothing like that. But if you don't know about those specific things, I would definitely look more into it for sure. All right. Let's get more further into the comments. Sounds like a Bitcoin maxi viewpoint. Daniel Delgado, you have to realize that when you have had a way to move billions of dollars for cheap and fast, imagine fast food without drive-thrus. That's a great analogy. Love that. Thank you, Daniel. Salman, remember XRP was up to $2 or $3 during the SEC lawsuit. Yeah, actually it was $4, I think, at all-time highs. This is towards mass, so I'm not going to read that. If it's your own private conversations, that's your own private conversations. It's either R3 or Corda choices, I believe. Yeah, here's another thing. We need to talk more about XDC, but that's the main thing that stands out for me for XDC is that R3 Corda bridge. And we've outlined how massive that is. I don't think I pinned it. Maybe I should pin it, but I did share it on my particular profile on my Twitter, showing you guys that specifically. All right, look into XDC. Yep, XDC. Sorry. You like Aave? Held some when it was still known as Len many years ago. Don't hold any now. Yeah, anybody who's a fan of Aave, I want to state this much: if you believe in Aave, then you will see the clear path. No pun intended. With Clearpool, literally, you got to look at Clearpool kind of like, I guess you could say, like, Tim Shea and some of the other guys look at Quant and ALBT, like it's the younger cousin of, ALB. If ALBT is the younger cousin of Quant, Clearpool is the younger cousin of Aave. I'll just leave it at that. I'm aware of XTC. You don't know a lot about it, though. We'll check. Okay, cool. I was a hater. You were a hater on XRP? I didn't know that, Salamander. I did the research and worked for me. Well, that's cool, man. That's a perfect example of somebody that, look more further into it. Regulations don't destroy the lenders. Aave may make it. Thanks, Coochie boy. Salamander states, can you imagine if the SEC wasn't suing XRP, what the price would be today? I think it'd be easily over $10. Easily. Cool. All right. Let's get further into our particular news coverage. We're approaching the 2-hour mark. We do have some more for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that particular spot so I don't lose my spot. And here it is. The moment you've been waiting for. Maybe. I don't know. And that is this right here. Now, yesterday's show, we pointed out Ripple's very own Stuart Alderati, legal counsel to Ripple. He did the 1 minute, what do you want to call it, in regards to teaching people about crypto. Now, guess who's next on that list? You see it right here. Ripple's very own, the mad scientist, time machine guy, Doc Brown, as Larry would refer to him, is from Back to the Future. David Schwartz says, I thought nobody could learn things in minutes. Well, here's Joel Katz, aka David Schwartz, creator of XRP. And look at this, or the XRP ledger, I should say, teaching some crypto in 1 minute. The man, along with Brad Garlinghouse, who will change the global financial system. So it's a little bit longer than a minute. It's a minute 17, maybe because they're asking him to do it. So let's see, does he actually do it in 1 minute flat? It's interesting to see these types of things. And if anything, who will be next? Would either be Brad Garlinghouse tomorrow or somebody else from Ripple? We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to play it roughly a minute, and we'll be right back.
The kind of information, this is pretty tough to pack, the kind of information that I want into 1 minute. I'm David Schwartz, CTO at Ripple, and this is Crypto in a Minute. Got 1 minute. Okay. Well, the first consensus model was proof of work. I guess the advantage of proof of work was at the time it was the only game in town, and it allowed for a decentralized system. That is one that doesn't rely on a central authority. Later developments included things like federated Byzantine agreement, with the XRP ledger uses, and proof of stake. Some of the advantages of these later developments are lower cost. Proof of work costs millions of dollars to pay the miners for the energy that they use. Proof of stake doesn't have that cost and can provide comparable security. And if you're the person who's paying those costs, if you're the people who are using the system, how much it costs just to keep the system secure is like a tax. It's residual friction that the system doesn't remove. Federated Byzantine agreement, which is what the XRP ledger uses, makes the users of the system the stakeholders rather than the people who have the most money to spend on tokens or power. And that provides a more sort of democratic system where the costs can be low and the performance can be high. Oh, that was really good.
That was pretty cool. You got to bet that was pretty cool. Nice to see David Schwartz all, happy and gung ho. Can we all agree on this? Whether you're a fan of XRP or not, do they, show the body language of a person that feels as though, oh God, getting in front of, all right, XRP use case, I don't know. I mean, there's that SEC thing going on right now, but all right, well, we have cross-border payments, and we provide on-demand liquidity if somebody was to access it, a bank or something. No. You don't get that body language. It's not like that at all, right? It ain't no Principal McDicker looking guy from Beavis and Butthead who's like, Beavis and Butthead, here's what XRP is gonna freaking solve. It's not just an interoperability, it's no, you don't get that. He's cool, he's relaxed, he's calm. He ain't acting like Principal McDicker or McVicker from Beavis and Butthead. He ain't acting like that. Cool, collected, calm. Just like Stuart Alderati. Anyway. All right, let's get further into it. Thank you for all your input. You're very welcome. And thank you for, being open-minded. That's the main thing. That's cool. So you know what? Guys, give this guy some props. Sounds like he's pretty open-minded. All right. Mr. D. Shagans, morning from Scotland. Well, good morning to you. Thank you for being here continuously. We really do appreciate that. On top of that, we have, people saying hello to Mr. Shagans. Schwartz is Satoshi. Wouldn't that be something if he was? Because here's the thing. That's a good thing you mentioned, Salamander. Because we know, for instance, in the past, he did work on specifically like some of these specific things, right? I guess I'm saying specific all the time. Anyway, we did show you guys some interviews, right, in the past where he, I guess you could say, did some work for Bitcoin. So, there's that whole debate where, well, Max, Satoshi's not one person. It's a collective, it's a collective body of people. So maybe he's part of that. Anyway. Schwartz not too happy with Flair. Yeah? Anybody have a clip on that? Wouldn't mind sharing that with us. Big Watch Dude, I don't think Ripple dumps tokens on the market. They release a specific amount each month to supply their business partners to use for the on-demand liquidity. I think they lock up the unused portion of those tokens. And you like that particular impersonation? Thank you very much. XRP doesn't seem worried about the SEC. Is there any time frame for the SEC judgment for XRP suit? No, but I'll say this. I'm still sticking to my guns on this. I originally said that I felt as though it would be over by March or early April. I'm still sticking to that. I think Larry said, end of January or February. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Am I the only one who remembers Principal McVicker? The guy was like, oh, be a simple head. Get your bus to detention. That guy. Anyway. All right. Gonna go ahead and highlight that spot, and we're gonna kick it into our next particular piece of coverage here tonight with you guys. Thanks for being here. It is now going to switch to our particular XDC coverage. Yes, XDC. Yay. Finally, right? Some XDC coverage. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. If anything, it is going to come up here in just a moment. Just double checking if I have the right way. Yep, I do. Okay. So check this out. Shout out to this guy who is following me, which I thought was cool. Joshua Rumsberg is basically probably like the top person who follows XDC as far as a content creator, right? He's the founder and CEO of @ChainLeak, the crypto news podcast, ambassador for XDC, LGCY, GBEX, SYS, PLI, and TRX. And anyway, he posted this not that long ago. Some of you guys are already aware of it. That's beyond the point. Look at this. It says, good morning. This is from Warren Sapp. Yeah, legendary football player, right? Good morning. I'm excited to partner with these guys right here, Dope Club NFT, to launch an exclusive NFT collection on what? The XDC NFT network. Keep an eye out for his first collection of NFTs on the XDC network coming soon. Now, why would Warren Sapp want to do that? Probably because he realizes that the days of basically paying ETH gas fees on a very slow network of Ethereum, that don't make no sense. But let's face it, a lot of us had to do that. I didn't, at least. I own some NFTs, but I didn't take advantage of that. But he recognizes that you might as well do it on a network where you have 2,000 TPS compared to Ethereum's, what is it, like 10 to 15? The gas fee, forget about it, man. Hey, forget about it, like you want a freaking gas fee, huh? You want to go on Ethereum? You want to put a freaking gas fee, $300. Excuse me. $300 gas fee for Ethereum. Forget about it. Go back to Jersey, you bum, right? Like that. Like, no. If anything, he realizes, no, I'm going to pay the price of a Luna Classic token for this particular gas fee. So he does it on XDC. Shout out to Warren Sapp, who recognizes XDC. And at last time I checked, Warren Sapp was a bad blankety blank mofo, right? Like sacking QBs like crazy and doing what he does. I mean, he was one of the greatest. So anyway, yeah. Warren Sapp on the XDC network. Really cool. All right. So let me share some more with you guys. And if anything, we'll kick it into some more of our particular coverage before we wrap things up. Hold on a second. So we have this. Larry Fink wants to tokenize stocks and bonds. Ooh, why would he want to do that? Well, so it says, following the unofficial transcript from CNBC interview with BlackRock chairman and CEO Larry Fink on CNBC's Squawk on the Street, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern. On Friday, January 13th, a few days ago, there was this particular interview with BlackRock's CEO, Larry Fink, and he's optimistic about long-term investment opportunities in 2023. But he continuously, in this particular interview, and if you want more of a deeper dive into it, I may do a deep dive into it. I don't know, but I'm thinking about doing it. But there's this back and forth interview. And if anything, yes, you do see him wishing Jim Cramer a happy new year and so on. But it's a pretty interesting one because here's the key thing. Without me reading all this, I already reviewed it earlier. And that is the key takeaway is the tokenization. And he mentions it numerous times. And what do we know what platform basically is the tokenization of digital assets? Well, it's LCX. And so you already have drawn that connection, at least we have before, in regards to, for instance, that partnership between Coinbase and even LCX. We mentioned that a while back. If you haven't seen that, you could go to a recorded video section. But on top of that, you know, we're talking about, I mean, come on, man, BlackRock, are you kidding? You know, they're the world's largest asset custodian, whether Larry Fink wants to admit that or not, right? He says, no, we're not. Well, is it for tax reason? Maybe. I think it has something to do with that. But in reality, they are the world's largest asset custodian. And if he's constantly mentioning the likes of, for instance, tokenized assets without officially mentioning LCX, then it's like, wow, this is really, really something else. And of course, we already drew that connection with LCX in the past. But I don't know. It was a pretty interesting interview, to say the least. You can view this either going through Value Walk, or you could just look it up on, for instance, YouTube for the full interview. Again, I might take more of a deeper dive into this, and if I do, look out for it on the recording. On top of that, before we kick it back into the comments, this, yeah, we covered, for instance, Quant earlier, but again, it's still a little bit of LCX. So listen to this. It states, and I love this quote. So shout out to this particular guy. His name is JJ. And actually, I'm going to follow him. Why not? He basically follows Quant, HBAR, Algo, and LCX closely. You know how I'm always mentioning that Quant is the operating system, or I should say, Quant is like the Microsoft of crypto, right? So listen to what he says. He basically looks at it that way too. It says Quant is like the Microsoft Windows that connects every blockchains to communicate and operate with one another. LCX is the first physical validation exchange that is fully regulated. It means it can tokenize gold, diamonds, and other assets. Very well put. You know, and then I like this also, this other response to this from Quant Mien. He states, tokenizing diamonds is just a foot in the door. Yeah, true. It's just showing what tokenization can do. Still, nobody is paying attention yet. LCX should be a speculative $1 billion market cap like some of the others. Should be over one already. And that's just lowballing, right? Some of you guys are talking about, for instance, LCX hitting a $1 trillion market cap by 2030, right? And of course, some people give ALBT love. I know Tim Shea is going to as well. That was a great quote. I think we have one more to share with you guys before we kick it back in the comments, and we'll finish it up with this. Actually, there's one more after this, and then we'll finish it up. It says, there's something more similar than just the charts for ALBT and ZCX. Now, I'm not aware of ZCX, but hear me out. It says, in a similar fashion that Binance has been buying up supply of ALBT. And I want to point this out. For the last few days, we've been bringing you guys more and more of this information to build more of a case towards the thesis of, are they going to, they as in Binance, list ALBT? Well, that evidence is really piling up, right? So it says it too has been doing it for ZCX. Again, I'm not really familiar with ZCX. Maybe some of you guys are. But it says across four walls, Binance holds just shy of 1% of the total supply. Don't believe? Well, it's linked below. And here's some more of that particular evidence to build a case for this. So you see a little bit more in regards to this particular balance of the guy uses a value of $336,000 worth of ETH. Look at all the different times that you have those transfers from Binance. I mean, geez, that's so many times I can't even count, right? On top of that, just to pound it home a little bit more, you see a little bit more in regards to this. Every single transaction listed there, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all from Binance. On top of that, Look at some of the quantities on this, right? This one for like 1 million. This other one for close to 1 million. I mean, some big, huge transactions. There's a little bit more in regards to that there. So, when we get the official announcement, we'll definitely mention it. I don't know. I mean, usually when you see things like this, and again, if it's trending enough and people are definitely showing screenshots, whether it's from Etherscan and so on, you eventually get some kind of announcement, right? That it's official. So to me, there's enough evidence to support that. As far as how soon it happens, I don't know. But we'll continuously follow this for you guys and so on. Anyway, let's get into the comments just here briefly. And we have one, maybe two. Hold on a second. Yeah, we have one last news segment for you guys. It's a brief one, real brief in regards to HBAR. So let's kick it back into the comments. And if anything, let's see who's next on the particular list. It's this person right here. I'm just going to call you LK because, your name's, no offense, it's gibberish. I don't mean no disrespect, but you kind of brought it on yourself. If the ruling is in favor of XRP, is it likely American exchanges relisted? I would say that first starts, and then if anything, everything else will follow suit. Yes, yeah, Beavis and Butthead cartoons, hella funny. I haven't seen the new one. I saw actually, I take that back. I saw a little bit of the new one off of was it Paramount or Universal? I can't remember. Anyway, it had Beavis. He was talking to the dumpster, but the dumpster was on fire. He's always like, yeah, fire. Anyway, that one was pretty funny. Looking forward to seeing some more episodes. I didn't like the last one that they tried to bring back. I think it was back in like 2011, 2012, something like that. That failed miserably. All right, Daniel, don't call me Carlos Delgado, as Larry would say. In your hypothesis, Max, do you think SWIFT and the World Economic Forum will use XRP? Yeah, I definitely think they're going to use XRP. I think SWIFT is going to use XRP. All right, so let's see here. Salamander. ISO 222 are like your mandatory classes in college, and the meme coins are like your elective classes in college. That's another great analogy. Look at you guys. So you got Carlos. God, that sounds bad. I'm sorry, Daniel. You have Daniel, don't call me Carlos Delgado, who I literally just called Carlos. My bad, Daniel. So you had a great statement earlier, that analogy with the fast food. And then Salamander's analogy. Those are really, really good. Maybe Larry should clip those or something. All right, so yeah, those are good. GS says Max killing it with the voices. Well, thank you very much. I do I could do about 22 different ones and so on. I'm looking for a particular software where I could do some things, but do you guys know of any particular voiceover softwares where, for instance, like I could take a picture of an image and make it like talk, you know what I mean? Without using their pre-recorded voice, I can use my own. If you know about that, it would really help me out. I'm trying to experiment with a new thing. Yeah, it might just leapfrog us, to say the least. All right. It might be over 22. Now I think about it. Anyway, Big Watch Dude. Hey Max, although it seems the CTN community may be small compared to other communities, I don't think there is one that is more knowledgeable. Big props to the CTN fan. Well, thanks, man. I mean, we're still growing, obviously. Like our goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers by February. It'd be really nice if we could do that. But if you guys happen to be following us on Twitter, I mean, if you want to help us out, any of you guys, some of you guys, I don't even have to tell you guys like this stuff, but I mean, Coochie Boy does this for us sometimes, Tim Shea, Mike Cornwell, a few other guys and so on, but it's sharing, it's the saying goes, word of mouth, just sharing our particular content, whether it's recorded or it's the live. But I really appreciate that, Big Watch Dude. Really, really appreciate that. All right. Meme coins are more like physical ed. You got to be quite nimble. They are not for the faint of heart. Yeah. All right. Quant is the brain, XRP, XLM, and XDC is the blood. That came from Mentellect, and that is a great quote. I like that particular one. He was referring to the QFS, the quantum financial system. To me, that is the true cheat sheet. How about this? It said cheat sheet 2.0. That's cheat sheet 3.0. All right. LK says, I got the LCX airdrop for Timons last year. So far, not worth anything. Hopefully in the future. In the future, yes. You love LCX, says Salamander. Will be huge. You have a talent with the voice impersonation, but not the British accent. I've never had anybody complain about the British accent. Even British people have told me in the past, they were like, it's fine. Don't even worry about it. But you're the first one to tell me that. And I've been doing impersonations literally since I was in theater back in high school and so on. I've been doing that same voice and so on. I could do other British ones. I do that one for fun. But I have done other ones where I got it more to sound like more calm and collected and so on. ZCX is Unison Exchange Token. Okay, that sounds familiar now. Gilbert Verdi is advisor to that project. Huh. What happened with GBEX? Why no buzz on this token? There was some news I saw a little bit in regards to on crypto Twitter. Maybe I'll share it tomorrow. Salamander says it's time to invest in LCX. I agree. I totally agree with that. All right. Let me go ahead and highlight this. This is going to be the last of our particular news coverage for the night before we wrap up the show. All right. So if anything, I'm going to go ahead and share that right now. And this comes straight from Dr. Lehman Baird in Harvard. You may have seen this, but I saw, for instance, another show who showed this. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to share it too. So here you go. And if anything, I'm going to go ahead and play this. This is real short. It's only 30 seconds. It says, how fast is Hashgraph? And we'll be back in 30 seconds.
How many times per second can I do a payment? If you had a credit card system, it might be 10,000 payments per second, 10,000 transactions per second. If it's Bitcoin, you're more like 3 transactions per second. Different systems have different speeds. For Hashgraph, the throughput is hundreds of thousands of transactions a second. We've done experiments that go across the country, we've done experiments that go around the world, and you can see very high speeds.
All right, so maybe we should get more of a full interview or, from that particular clip later on. But, I thought that was a nice way to wrap things up with just a quick 30 seconds. Be on the lookout for a few particular crypto projects. Maybe I'll just go ahead and share this real quick. Yeah, I'll share this real quick before we go, because I did see we got a super chat that came in. I'll just read this real quick before I get to yours, Salamander. It says, I'm a Londoner and you overdo the London accent. Yeah. No, I know I do. I can actually, how about this? I'll try to study it a little bit better. I could do more of a softer, more accurate one. I'll get back to you on that. But if I get your approval on that, then I know I've accomplished what I needed to do, I guess. Salamander says, $2. I love the LCX accent. Well, thank you. Just for you. I'll do something that I used to practice a long time ago. So this is for you, Salamander. This is old school Max back in the day on the improv team and so on. So we used to have this exercise to practice our vocabulary and how to talk. And it was always the same phrase. And you start off slow and then you go fast. It goes like this. And I'll do it in the voice so that you like. It goes like this. Whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot, we'll be together, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. So basically what I just said is, whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot, we'll be together, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. And you got to keep saying it slow, but it helps you pronounce things just right. Because if anything, it's kind of like a guy who practice, layup drills and stuff like that. You're not going to go perform on stage without doing proper, speech etiquette and talking and so on. So it was kind of a weird tongue twister, but our director always had us do it, and it was crazy. And then she would be like, all right, I want everybody to do it fast. So it'd be like, whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot, we'll be together, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. Anyway, but to try to do it like with a German accent, it's kind of challenging. Anyway, but thank you for that $2 super chat. Appreciate it. H bar is on fire, says Brian Dowie. LOL Salamander, me too. Masturbator states, you do the typical British character villain and watch Top Boys to learn how we talk in London. I've actually listened to audio tapes. That was the main thing. If we had to do something that was an actual character to bring out a sense of accuracy, we would listen to certain audio tapes. And we would have, for instance, there's obviously a difference between, popular accents from who was here earlier, Mr. Shaggins, right? So he's Scottish. There's a distinct difference between Scottish and Welsh and people from Wales, and I said Welsh, that's more like Irish, but you get what I'm saying. It's just it's just like here in America. Like we have, let's face it, I mean, there's if a person's from Texas, they have a distinct accent compared to somebody that's from Louisiana, right? Or somebody that's from Alabama, or for instance, Arkansas, or I've known quite a few people from Tennessee. They have a very distinct accent, or people from North Carolina. So it just depends. I mean, even here, like, you can't, if you try to do an accent and you're like, hey, Max, listen here, you freaking bum. You're trying to shield me this thing garbage project. It's like, what? Excuse me. It's like, that ain't no Southern accent. So I get what you're talking about. All right. Ani Orgy. Love the Houston, Texas. Oh, love from Houston, Texas. Quant might be the key for me in the future. Yes, absolutely. Financial freedom. Mass states, thank you for that, GS, by the way. I thought you were rapping some drill lyrics, my guy. Well, not really. It's just that was a drill, I guess you could say, for us to always do. It's just called weather the weather. People are like, oh my gosh, weather the weather, man. Do Fred Sanford and Lamont. I'll have to work on that one. From Sanford and Son. That'd be cool to do that one. You're buying LCX right now. You know what? Here's the thing. I know I said we'd wrap things up. I want to show you guys something real quick. This is something I've been teetering around for a while. So I'm really good at making intros. Some of you guys have seen that lately. I want to show you guys something. And this is like brief. I can't take all the credit for this, but this is brief footage from a game. It's called Wolfenstein. Now, hear me out. They have some footage that is kind of related to like the concept of Mr. Klaus Schwab. Hold on a second. It's called Wolfenstein, The New Order. I think it's called Wolfenstein, The New Order trailer. Yeah, check this out. It's crazy. This is like totally the whole. I was thinking about putting like a compilation together and breaking it down and doing like an intro for like, something like, is Klaus Schwab a real life supervillain? I know a lot of people feel the same, like they feel like he is, right? There's other people who say, no, he's a good person. And it's just, it's the public perception of what he's trying to accomplish, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, here it is. Let me know what you think. Would this be quite an interesting, like I'm going to blend in some of these, but I was thinking about including this right here. I honestly want to know what you guys think. I'm going to play this for you. This is something else. Listen to this. Here we go.
So much has changed. I've been gone for too long. They beat us to the bone. No one knows how. The world was forced into submission. They took our freedom. Tore down what took centuries to build. They terrorized the world with their power. Enslaved millions. Uprisings. Rebellions. Resistance. Crushed beneath an iron boot. They're stealing our future, flaunting their might. They think the war is over, but they're dead wrong.
All right. So basically, until it gets to the part where the video game obviously kicks in, but it's some of the messages, right? They're here to enslave us. They're here to, stick their will on us, right? It's like all the things from the CBDC, but we're here to fight back against the system and so on. It's just, I don't know. I was thinking about it's like kind of like a crazy World Economic Forum style trailer, because if anything, I don't know if you guys seen that last interview from Klaus Schwab in regards to some of this stuff. It's kind of crazy. It's like, is this guy really like a real life supervillain? And here's why I'm stating that. If you haven't seen this already, it's regards to this whole thing with the power grid or whatever. So there's this thing about hold on, I think it's called knocking out the grid. Oh, I can't pull it up. Did they get rid of it already? Let me see. Hold on. Recent Klaus Schwab interview. Hold on a second. Man, I have to pull it up. I'll have to get it for you guys some other time. But he talks specifically about, first was the whole thing with the pandemic. And then there's this thing about like, oh yeah, I know what it is. It's a cyber attack. Hold on a second. This is crazy. If you haven't seen this, all right, I think I can pull this up before we wrap things up. Klaus Schwab cyber attack. Excuse me. Every time I do that, go back to Jizzy, you bum. It messes up my throat. Okay, I think I found it. Yeah, 57 seconds. This got to be it. Is that it? No, that's not it. Hold on. I could have sworn I had this thing. All right, maybe, you know what? Maybe YouTube's filtering it out and not allowing it. It might just be from crypto Twitter. Let's try crypto Twitter real quick, because that was the origin of this real quick. So, Klaus Schwab, what a name, by the way. Cyber attack. Hold on. Let's see if that pulls up. Somebody has to have this, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, I got it. I'm pretty sure I got this. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share this in a way for you to hear it. Yep, I got it. Isn't that something? YouTube is filtering this out for nobody can see this. All right. Let me show it to you guys. A lot of you guys have already seen this, but it's crazy stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, should I just put like a trailer together to basically, I don't know. I'm just trying to think kind of outside the box, but at the same time, I'm not trying to make people think that Quant is part of an evil, sinister plan, because I think that's further from the truth. But anyway, here we go. Bonus coverage from Crypto Talk Now. World Economic Forum. Mr. Klaus Schwab, warning of the next pandemic. A cyber attack is so vast it disconnects the internet. The new internet will only be accessible to those with biometric digital identification. Your papers, please. Almost as if this was a plan. This is exactly 35 seconds. And then we will return.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. Pay insufficient attention.
So let me know what you guys think. I mean, do you guys think this guy's a real life supervillain, for crying out loud? I mean, like, you know, I don't wish anybody to be handicapped or disabled, right? Like, why would I wish that, right? But like, he comes rolling out, for instance, in a wheelchair, and the way he talks and the way he delivers a particular message and anything, I'm like looking at it from the perspective of like, if Dr. Xavier is the head of the X-Men, right? Literally, think about Xavier, then this guy is literally the opposite of just that. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's like a real life supervillain, for crying out loud. It's crazy. Anyway, thank you for staying around. Hi, Bach. You're probably like, what the heck is this? It's just some bonus coverage. But yeah, just hit the like. Well, thanks for that. Cool video, Max. Thank you very much. ALBT scaling back a bit. Yeah, I think people are taking profits. There's nothing wrong with that. It reminds me of the 1984 movie. Somebody did cover that. I forgot the guy's name. He has a show all the time. He's a Jewish guy. He wears a nice suit. I forgot the guy's name. He basically said that, and they did show a comparison of that. The Apple 1984 Apple ad. And also, you could also say, technically speaking, was it Orson Welles 1984? Or something. I want to say, sorry. But the book 1984. I want to hear you do Colonel Klink from Hogan's Heroes. I have to work on it. I have to listen to that specifically. Betting on quant is like betting on both good or evil to win. And the thing is this, it's kind of like Russia back in World War II, right? A lot of people want to say, oh, for instance, it's Nazi Germany who invaded Poland September 1939. And if anything, that's where all the focus should be. A lot of people have forgotten that Russia was right there with them on that particular invasion. So either way, they freaking won. They're on the winning side no matter what. So do we look at quant that way? I don't want to put quant in that particular basket, but that's a good analogy. So either way, we win. Yeah, I don't know. Boxtron, awesome. See, that is the case. We back up the truck, and for even more, waiting for that retracement. Seems like the intro to Red Alert. Oh, I remember Red Alert. That was a good game. It's called TA. You should see it. He sounds like a what? TA never fails. Colonel Klink says River Runner. LBT looking juicy below 10 cents. And last but not least, Paula Rose just came, and she says, I hear a lot of threats of cyber attacks coming lately. Yeah. Boxtron, hope it goes back to 8 cents to load up more cash waiting for that reload. Well, thank you guys for joining us here at the end. Just going to state this. Larry has uploaded at least 8 or 9 videos today. I did a deep dive in regards to what's going to happen, for instance, for the bull market, in my humble opinion. Check it out if you have time, or when you have time. And yeah, it was a lot of videos that we put out today, which is super cool. Thank you again for joining us here at the live. And if anything, we'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for more crypto talk now. I believe it might just be me, because I think normally Larry has Tuesdays off, but I could be wrong. He might be back here tomorrow. And then again, guys, look out for it. For instance, Wednesday, we happen to have our ongoing weekly discussion for the crypto roundtable. We'll keep an eye on what's going on with the overall market. Again, thank you for tuning in. May y'all have a blessed day or night wherever you are. We'll see you on the next one. Over and out.